Genevieve yielded the microscope to Ellie, who nervously examined Matthew's sample. She chewed on the inside of her cheek the entire time she studied the slide. Matthew waited patiently as she flipped through a few pages of her notes, scribbled down on hotel stationery. "I think you're right," Ellie muttered. "I'm not seeing much of a difference here." She turned to look at Matthew. "I think you're definitely infected." He sat back in his chair across from the women's workstation. He figured as much, yet every time it was mentioned, he felt a little zap of electricity shoot through his system. Though his blood proved otherwise, Matthew still wasn't entirely convinced that he was completely doomed. Not yet, anyway. "Remember what Mayor Schilling said?" he asked, turning around for the other soldiers to give him some backup. "She said that the disease lies dormant in some people. What if it's so dormant that I never suffer the effects of the virus? Is that possible?" It seemed reasonable to Matthew. After all, it had been quite some time since he had been scratched by the zombie. He had never personally seen someone withstand more than a few hours of the sickness coursing through their veins before succumbing to the disease. Perhaps there was some fluke, some abnormality in his body that made him able to survive. "I don't think so," Ellie said softly. "We're not talking about the common cold." "They're both viruses, aren't they?" "More like HIV, Genevieve added. Ellie nodded in agreement. "Exactly. Before we had treatment for HIV, it was a death sentence. That's sort of where we're at now. It takes a lot of research to figure out how a virus operates, even more to figure out how to stop it. Admittedly, we have a bit of a head start, given my involvement, but I'd be shocked if by some miracle you were able to survive without showing symptoms." "Why not?" Matthew asked, puffing out his chest. He felt as if his strength was being called into question. "Because it's not engineered to make only some people sick," she said, looking frazzled. "It's not possible to gain immunity unless you've been given a vaccine. It's just too new. Anyway, it's supposed to have a 100% kill rate. It's supposed to be able to wipe out an entire population." "Don't remind me," Matthew groaned. "Sorry," she said as she stared down at the table. "For what?" he asked. "Sorry that I'm sick? Or sorry for killing my wife? Or are you sorry for bringing a slow and painful death to all of civilization?" Ellie took a deep breath and picked at the skin around her thumbs. Her lip quivered, and fresh tears appeared in her eyes. "This isn't helping," Carl said softly. Matthew turned around to face him, wondering if he was really out of control. Matthew didn't enjoy being harsh with people, but he felt that it was deserved. If they were in the military, he figured Ellie would be going on trial for war crimes. But they were no longer part of normal civilization. There were no rules for these things, and if he wanted the others to show him compassion with his illness, then he decided that he should do his best to act civilized. "It is bad, but it may not be Ellie's problem," Genevieve said, looking concerned. "Maybe first virus was bad, but it did not make zombies. It can change, you know." Matthew frowned. Not following." "I think she's looking for the word mutation," Lucas offered. Genevieve nodded rapidly. "Yes, mutation. It's a maybe mutation." "How does that work?" Matthew asked. Ellie shrugged. "This is all speculation now," she replied. "My original virus must have been tested at one point, or it wouldn't have been released. But I didn't see the results from the trials. If this hypothesis is correct, then perhaps my virus caused relatively routine deaths in terms of the average illness. But viruses can mutate, and it's often very unpredictable. The zombie effect may be something that didn't even exist in the original virus. If that's the case, then we might see more strange symptoms as time goes on." Matthew thought about this for a moment. If a virus could change so easily, then maybe he had a mutation that allowed him to seem relatively normal while possessing black blood. "I might be okay then," Matthew concluded. "Let's say the virus has mutated. I still have it, but I'm perfectly healthy. Does this make any sense?" Genevieve shook her head. She said something to Lucas that caused his face to fall. "What is it?" "She said that in her experience, viral mutations make it much harder to control the spread of dangerous diseases, not easier. Usually, it takes so much time to get on top of a new mutation that by the time scientists have figured out a vaccine, too many deaths have occurred." "I'd have to agree with her," Ellie said. "Of course, I don't think anything is outside the realm of possibility anymore. I can't speak on the typical experience, but there's nothing typical about this disease." Matthew sighed.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.